Remodelers and custom builders, welcome back. We're talking about the growth framework. So this is all about how to build the system to scale your marketing and sales for your remodeling or custom home building business. Now, we're doing some deep dives. So if you have missed the overview pillars, you'll want to go back and watch those. We've got a playlist on the YouTube channel that is Attract, Convert, Nurture, Close, and Measure. We are zooming in on Attract. So we're going to do a series of deep dives where we cover all of those components in more detail. And today we're focusing on the website, which is the foundation for all of your marketing efforts. So just as a reference point, in Attract, we talked all about the marketing bullseye here, and the website is at the center of your marketing bullseye. In the next videos, we'll cover these additional rings as we get to them. So today, let's start with the website. And as an overarching theme to remember, your website is one of the most powerful tools that you have from a marketing and sales perspective. It essentially operates as a 24/7 salesperson if you've built it and you're using it correctly. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's start with our website. And there are a few different components here that we need to cover. One of the things I want you to keep in mind as we go through this is we are going to be talking about the performance of the website. And you will hardly ever hear me talk about the design. There are components that we will talk about in this video and throughout this sheet here that do factor into design, but design is very subjective. You could love the way something looks, I could really hate it, or vice versa. And at the end of the day, design, we want it to appeal to our target audience, but beyond that, the performance elements are actually what's going to drive the needle for you. Okay, so let's dive into the website. So this is your foundation for all of your marketing efforts. It doesn't matter if somebody sees, a truck wrap, they see your sign, they see a billboard, they hear about you on the radio, or you sponsor a Little League team, or they Google you, they find you on social media. All roads lead back to the website. And so we're going to talk about the 3 C's. This is a nice little framework that you can use as you're evaluating your current site or if you're trying to upgrade your website. And so we're going to break this into clarity, and then we've got credibility, and we have conversion. So as somebody hits your website, they're immediately trying to figure out, hey, am I in the right spot, right? So if I'm a homeowner and I want to remodel my kitchen, I'm doing my Google searches, I'm on AI platforms, I'm browsing social media, I'm looking for a company, and I land on the website. The first thing I want to make sure is, am I even in the right spot? And so that's what clarity is all about. And so when we look at clarity, the first questions that come to mind are going to be who, what, where, and then what next. And so who is just, who is this company, right? So we should have our logo, we should have our company name, and then very quickly we're moving into, okay, but what do you do? Do you do the service that I'm looking for? And so on the surface, that sounds really simple, but there are many sites that I've been to where you navigate to them and it is unclear. It looks like they do construction, but beyond that, you're not really sure. So if you do kitchens, bathrooms, and basements, we want that to be extremely clear from the moment that somebody hits the website. We should have individual service pages that cover that you do kitchens, bathrooms, and basements. And so the what is, what types of services do you offer? And then we also want to add budget ranges if we can, as we're incorporating that throughout. Because again, what we're seeking here is clarity for the visitor. We want to make sure when they arrive, they know very quickly, I'm in the right spot or I'm in the wrong spot. And that's one of the cool things about what your website can do for you, is that it can actually filter out bad fit leads. And I know there's a lot of times you get calls from tire kickers, people that you feel like, man, that was just a waste of 20 minutes on that phone call. If you do a good job on your website with clarity, you can actually filter out those bad fit prospects. Another way we can filter is where, right? So, hey, we are Piper Builders. We do kitchens, bathrooms, and basements, and we do that in Colorado Springs. Even more specifically, you can list out neighborhoods, areas of town, and list very, very specifically where you do work and where you don't do work. And so having a map, maybe having one of those circles or little drawings around where you say, hey, this is our actual service area. Anything that makes it very, very easy for somebody to see, cool, it looks like they do work in my area. So we're adding clarity. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the what next when we get to conversion, but they need a next step. They need a clear next step. They've been to the website, they've checked all these boxes, they go, cool, then what do I do next? Do I fill out a form? Do I call you? Do I email you? And so that is where we'll talk about that more in conversion. So that is clarity. Clarity can pull in the right type of leads, and it can push away and filter out the bad leads. That leads us to credibility. So this is our next C in our 3 C's on the foundation. And this is really all about trust. And so we want to build trust. And we can do that in a number of ways. One is testimonials. We can have reviews. We can have badges. Those are like your associations. So that might be if you're a member of the local NARI or anything like that. Awards. And so if somebody sees, hey, wow, they've won 10 awards, they've won 20 awards, or they're a recent award winner from the current year, all of those things go towards building trust. And then we could also use, this is a great time to use before and afters and project spotlights. Clarity is, am I in the right spot? Credibility is basically building up the likelihood that somebody does the what next and they actually convert, which we'll talk about here in a second. And so if somebody hits your website and they go, cool, it looks like they do kitchens, I want to redo my kitchen, they work in my service area, so that's great. But then if there's no really great photos, there's no videos, there's no awards, there's no reviews, there's no anything, trust doesn't get built up. And so that next evaluation piece is, do I want to fill out a form? Do I even want to contact this company? And the more trust we can build in, the higher the likelihood that they will actually take that next step. Okay, so let's talk about conversion. If you remember back to pillar 2, when we talked about convert, we talked a lot about conversion, and we'll be doing some more deep dive into it. But every page on your website has the ability to convert leads. And so we want to use the 2 CTA rule here. And so on every page, not just your home page, we want to have 2 conversion opportunities. And so one of those is going to be your lead magnet, and one will be your on-ramp. And so a lead magnet is going to be something like a cost guide, a design guide, a style quiz, something where your prospect, your visitor, they can fill out a form, and in exchange for their information, now you've captured a lead, they've got some free information from you that helps them in their research process. Now an on-ramp is what we call an on-ramp to sales. So that's going to be a contact us form, a phone number, an email address, a live chat, a meeting scheduler, something where they said, hey, I'm ready to talk to you, and so we're going to give them the mechanism to connect with us, basically. And so every single page on your website should have a lead magnet and an on-ramp, because if somebody does a Google search, they might land right on a blog post on your website, or they might land right on one of these project spotlight pages, or a before and after gallery. And so their entry point could be anywhere into the website. And so wherever they land, we want to make sure, hey, we have the opportunity to capture and convert, whether they're researching or whether they're ready to talk to us. And so we need a lead magnet and an on-ramp on every single page. And so as you're evaluating your website, you want to filter through these 3 C's and make sure you've got them covered. Is it clear? who you are, what you do, where you work, and then what's that next step, which is the conversion piece. How much credibility am I building through my website? Do I have testimonials and reviews and project spotlights and awards and all of these things that can show trust so that when somebody sees, wow, this company does what I need them to do in the area that I am, we just kind of check those boxes. This then says, wow, now I'm excited to talk to them and take an on-ramp, or I'm excited to learn a little bit more and I'm going to give up my information and download. And so that's how we can look at our website through the lens of performance versus just, does it look pretty or does it not look pretty? And yes, we want our website to look good and we want it to present well, but again, that is very subjective. This gives us a tangible framework for actually converting more leads. Okay, so that's the foundation, the basis for it. But we have a couple more important components that we need to make sure that we're covering as we go through our website. And so the first one is SEO, or search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is all about doing the things that we can on our website or off of our website in an effort to get us to show up higher on Google. It's literally optimizing for search engines, of which Google is the primary one. So what are the things that we can control or influence so that we can ensure that, hey, we're showing up higher on those search engines, so when a homeowner goes to Google and they type in kitchen remodeling services in Colorado Springs, that this website shows up, they see it checks all these boxes, they see all this trust, they fill out a form, and now we've captured a lead. And that's how you get leads from quote unquote SEO, right? So let's talk about the 4 buckets of SEO, and we're going to split this into, we've got technical, and we've got keyword targeting, so 1, 2, we've also got local SEO, and then we have schema. Okay, so technical SEO, what does this look like? We've basically got things, this is where you're going to have things like your site speed. So if you've ever seen or researched or heard that, hey, you want to have a fast website, the reason you want to have a fast website is that Google prioritizes fast sites, and that is a ranking factor that will help you show up a little bit higher. So it's important that we want to have a site that loads quickly. So when you get really in the weeds, you're looking at, wow, I'm uploading these big images. We want to compress them, size them down appropriately so that it doesn't take forever to load, because if it takes forever to load, it slows down our website. Google deprioritizes it, and now we're not ranking in those top spots. So site speed is one of those. You've got your HTTPS, which is just security. You can ensure that you've paid for HTTPS, so you have a secure site. Google, again, prioritizes secure sites. And then we want to have things like mobile first, and that it's super crawlable. And so again, these are pretty more technical in nature, but you can run your site through a site speed test. You can just Google that. You can go to your website and see, do I have one of those? When I go to the website, does it have HTTPS? Does it have one of those little locks up in the browser? You can look at your site on mobile. And so you can run some of these technical tests. But this stuff is really important. It is more technical, and you can also just do some more Google searching around any of these if you don't understand them at depth, or just ask your existing web company, marketing agency, whoever's helping you with your website. Okay, keyword targeting. This is going to be, what are people searching for? And so this you're going to want to incorporate into the website. If somebody is searching for kitchen remodeling company in Colorado Springs, that would be a variant of a search term, or they might type in, local remodeling company, or remodeling company near me, or basement remodeler. All of these are different terms, and so we want to do research around what is being searched in your local area, and then make sure that we have structured our website to be able to target those local keyword searches. So again, this could be anywhere from, we call it service plus location. So again, kitchen remodeling in Colorado Springs, those types of terms, but it could also be like cost to remodel in location. And so you're going to have dozens, hundreds of variants of things that people are searching while they're remodeling. But these service plus location, we tend to call these those money keywords because they typically have very high intent. So if somebody is typing in, kitchen remodeling company in Colorado Springs, there's probably a reason they want to find one of those companies. It's probably they're looking to hire. So keyword targeting is all about, hey, we're building out all these pages on our website, but what are we actually doing to target those pages at the right search terms? So again, we can attract and pull in those people that are doing those searches. And then the final piece is schema, and there are a few different types of schema that you can add to your website. You can do FAQ, you can do review schema, you can do the local business. And this, again, is fairly technical in nature. It's broken out as a separate item because schema is being specifically prioritized when it comes to SEO, but also when it comes to AI, which we're going to talk about next. Okay, but before we get to AI, which is, again, schema is a part of that, we need to also cover local SEO. Now, these three are all things that you can control and influence on your website. Local SEO, we're going to incorporate a couple of other things, and this is something that you're probably familiar with, which is your Google business profile. And so this would be the profile that allows you to show up in the map when somebody does a local search. And so this is going to be influencing the map pack, as we call it. This is going to also be citations, which are going to be your business listing on other sites. So that could be like Yelp or Houzz or Facebook, any of those types of places. And we want to make sure that your business is listed in many of those other platforms, but the information is all the same. And so we use an acronym called NAP, which is name, address, phone number. And so a lot of times what you'll see is you'll run a search and you'll see that, if our company is Piper Builders, we might see Piper Builders on Google, and then over on Yelp it might be listed as Piper Builders LLC. We want to avoid that. We want the name to be spelled and spaced exactly the same across all of your citations. We want the address to be the same. So if it's Suite 100, STE 100 versus Suite spelled out, we want to avoid that as well. You want it to be the exact same. The funny thing is, a lot of these things tend to come back around. By having citations across lots of these different sites and having the name, address, and phone number exactly the same, it builds trust, but it builds trust for Google. And so then Google prioritizes your website and you can start to move up. And so these are the 4 buckets of SEO. Again, these 3 are going to tie into things that you can influence on your website. You can control site speed and the security. You can add schema to it. You can control the keywords you're targeting. This is slightly outside, right? We're going to be using other platforms and other profiles, primarily the Google business profile, and then these additional citations. And that's going to help us show up, again, organically on Google. This is just pertaining to the map section versus all of this is generally going to help you show up in the non-map listing and the organic. There is some overlap, and we're not going to get all the way in the weeds there today, but just know, just in general, these are the things that you can control on your website. This is going to be outside of your website. Okay, so now let's move to AI. And this is going to be AI visibility is really what we're trying to influence here with what we're going to talk about. And so again, there's a nice little acronym that has actually been around for a long time, back to the Google days when we didn't have AI. And so it's EAT, E-E-A-T. And if you've been kind of following this framework and methodology and implementing it for your business for the past several years, you're probably starting to see that you're getting some early wins in AI visibility and you're already starting to show up. But the way this translates is the first E is experience. And then we have expertise. And then our A is authority. And our final T is trust. And so again, you'll see some overlap in concepts from what we're trying to do on our website with the homeowners, the prospects, the leads that are coming to our site. And then what we're doing here in our relationship to communicating with Google and AI platforms is we're trying to build trust and credibility and show that credibility and demonstrate our experience and our expertise. And so this is showing, like real projects, right? Work that you've done, and especially work that only you've done. And that's why project spotlights are such a powerful tool, because you can say, hey, we did this kitchen remodeling project on this street or in this neighborhood. Here's the scope, here's the story behind it, here's the rough budget range with this project. Like nobody else can really copy that, right? Because only you did that project. And so this demonstrates that the uniqueness, but also that experience that only you can demonstrate and show off. And so this is going to be photos and videos and project spotlights. So that is some ways that you can demonstrate experience. Expertise is going to be things like authors. So if you're the owner of the business and you are the one as the author of the blog post, Google and AI especially will be able to pick up on that, and they can see, wow, this person has written all of this content on this topic. And so this is where AI is starting to associate topical authority with you. And so if somebody in your local market is searching in and around, remodeling or residential construction or kitchen design or anything like that, and you have all of this content that you've written, you are demonstrating your expertise, and you're tying that expertise to you. You're the author of it. You're demonstrating that. And so as silly as it sounds, all of these digital platforms, Google has been doing it for a long time, but now all these AI platforms, they have to just look at what's online and figure out who is everyone and where is their experience, where is their expertise. They don't know what it is, and so we have to communicate it to them, and this is one of the ways we do that. And so we have named authors, but then also like credentials, right? So if you have, if you've been on the board of your local NARI, or you have some certifications or designations, then you want to make sure that you are highlighting those and you are demonstrating those. Your team may have certain like design credentials, or maybe your team has won some design awards, or they have certain certifications that they had to get to be a project manager or anything like that. Including that in their bios on the team page, but also if they're going to author some of the content, some of the blog posts, being able to showcase and highlight that expertise. Okay, so then we have authority. So this is going to be things like awards, backlinks, and what we're trying to show AI is that, hey, our company has authority. And so if your company is winning awards, some of these cross over a little bit. That's going to show off some expertise. It's also going to demonstrate some experience, but it's also showing that authority, right? You might have 10 awards, and if all your competition has 3 or less, then AI platforms can see that and they go, oh, interesting. That adds a little bit more authority to this company and everything that we can see about this company online. Backlinks are links from other websites linking back to you. That also demonstrates authority because they can see, it's basically like a vote of confidence in your company. This also heavily influences your ability to rank on the SEO side in Google and Bing and any of the other search engines. That has been around for many, many years, and it was one of the very first ways that Google said, hey, this is kind of how we can figure out who the trustworthy sites are, is if other sites are referencing your site by linking back to it, that means, hey, this site must be important. And so backlinks still builds authority as it has done for years, and it's still working to help you get more visibility in AI platforms. And then the final one is trust. And so this is going to be a secure website, reviews, and again, HTTPS, secure site, secure website helps build trust. Reviews, those are going to help build credibility. They also help build your credibility with AI platforms, with Google. And so many things that you are doing across this are going to help you in multiple ways. They're going to help you rank in Google. They're going to help you show up in AI. They're also going to help you convert the lead. And so that's the nice thing about understanding the framework here that we're trying to implement for your website is you can see how all these dots connect, and it also allows you to prioritize, because this may feel like a lot to work on, but you'll see some through lines, especially with things like reviews, site speed, and even down to the keyword targeting and letting people know, hey, this is how I'm trying to get found, is for kitchen, bathroom related terms in my local area. And it's also what adds clarity to the actual person, the lead, the prospect that shows up on your website. So to quickly recap, we've got the attract bullseye. This phase in our framework is all about how do we get more of the right people to your website. The end goal is to get more of the right projects signed and moving forward with you, but the first step is we need to get more of the right people to our website. When we get to our website, we want to recognize that performance matters. Performance is what's going to drive lead flow. So we've got the 3 C's: clarity, credibility, and conversion. And then we have our influencing factors, things that we want to bake into our website. We've got our SEO in our 4 buckets: technical, keyword targeting, schema, and local SEO. And then we've got EEAT as a way to influence and show up more in AI platforms. And again, if you're doing a lot of this stuff, it's also going to help you up here. So with that, we're going to wrap today's video. Keep an eye out for the next one. We'll be doing another deep dive on the first ring. So once we've got our foundation set, what can we do to continue to pull in and drive more traffic to your website so that you can continue to grow and hit your goals? All right, we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.